right, I am here with Dylan Harnish. Dylan, I think you probably have the record for these interviews. I think I've done more of these with you than any other person. So, what's up?
How are you? I'm good. Yeah, it's always fun to talk a little bit before you get to fight. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, a lot of the times you're talking some shit, but you told me there would be no shit talking really this time. So, the fight's February 22nd. It's a pro fight this time. Your first pro fight with USKA. Tell me what you think about the fight coming up against Dan.
I really didn't think I was gonna be able to fight again. We got a baby on the way, so once it hit like January, I kind of put fighting on the back burner for a little bit, and then I seen this offer, and it was just a fight I couldn't turn down. It's another MMA guy, kind of where I just get to go out there and just strike and not really have to worry about anything else. So I had to take that fight.
Good, very good. Yeah, so we posted this fight at 135. I believe you reached out to me and says, "Hey, I'm interested in that fight." And then I don't know what happened between then and the time the contracts were really signed, but I apparently you and Dan worked the deals out with the weights and everything kind of by yourselves, right?
Yeah, I didn't. I fought in October, and I was a little banged up after, so I wasn't training. And at this point, my body kind of reacted how I wanted it to, and I probably could have got down to 35, but I was a little heavier, kind of still banged up, heavier than I wanted to be. Just talked to him, and he was cool with it, so it worked out.
Dan is a real cool guy, and when we set this fight up in Pottstown, I didn't know where Dan's gym was relative to the venue, and he kind of reached out and said, "Hey, this is my hometown," and I'd put a cage in his building years ago, and but I followed GPS. I didn't even really know that it was in Pottstown. I just kind of followed the back roads, got to his gym, but he is going to have a ton of people there. You're kind of going into enemy territory this time. And the last time you fought for us, we fought in your hometown, January of last year. So how do you feel about that?
They can't fight for him. You know what I mean? It'll be cool. He'll have a lot of energy on the walkout and stuff like that. He'll have the fans there, but I drive past his gym twice a week. You know what I mean? Eric, he's going to be in Virginia that weekend, so I'll have Jeff Knapp from Black Sheep in my corner. I've been going down there and getting work in, along with one of my MMA coaches as well. So I drive past Drew's all the time, so it's no big deal.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, and I just talked to Lauren Roll from Black Sheep from Jeff Knapp's gym there, and so you'll probably have a lot of her people in the corner, and they have another fighter fighting, so that's pretty cool. So it may not be offset so much, but I know he kept saying that there's going to be a sea of orange there, a sea of orange with the Drogs colors. So and we'll probably see our fair share of pink there as well.
Yeah.
When is your baby due?
May 6th.
And so at what age do you think we could start looking for a match for that fight?
I mean, 16 probably, right? Look at him. Look at him
Yeah,
ready to go.
very, very soon it's going to move to at least 13 here. Very,
Yeah.
very soon. But we shall see. How does your significant other there feel about you fighting with the baby on the way and all this?
Not happy. It's you know what I mean, when she's able to sit there and have a beer or two when I'm fighting, I guess it kind of calms the nerves a little bit. But now she kind of just has to sit there and go through the struggle. I'll try to keep this fight as less stress as possible on her, and you know what I mean, just go out there, and I didn't perform in my last fight at all how I wanted to. So I'll just go out there and do what I'm supposed to do and kind of make it easy on her.
Very good. So, are you saying that you feel that this is going to be an easy fight for you, or this is a good matchup for you, or you're better prepared for this one? What are you saying?
Um, I don't like to say that fights are easy. I did that stuff when I was a kid, a teenager, and then when fights are harder than anticipated, you're kind of in there adjusting on the fly. Dan, he's really tough. That fight he had for CFFC, that dude that he fought is like one of the best in the world, and he stayed in there with them for all 5 rounds. I don't anticipate going out there and finishing him, but I think I'm better than a lot of people when I'm out there and I'm on and I'm flowing, and that's just what I anticipate doing.
And how about the 5 round, 3 minute rounds, 5 rounds for 3 minutes? That jump from AMI to pro. I know with USKA, because of the state laws, we've had to do 3 3 minute for amateurs. Or if you fought for us in Delaware, we probably did 5 2s. But how do you feel about the 5 3 minute rounds? Is that more in your comfort zone, or how do you feel?
Yeah, I like it. I'm like never win a first round ever. I'm not very good in the first round. I kind of like to make my reads and then flow into that. So the more time that I'm in there, the more reads I'm able to make, and like I'm just kind of flowing in there. You know what I mean? When more time goes on, and I anticipate him getting more tired than I will. So those later rounds is when I'll really pick it up.
Very good, very good. And so the when you're training down there with Jeff now, had you trained with him previous to this? And what are the different dynamics there with the training? Are you still training with Eric and then Jeff, and then how are you preparing? How are you balancing that?
Yeah, I've been down to Jeff's. He's invited me to the open sparring they do. They used to be on Sundays. It's on Saturdays now. But there's a bunch of people doing like a big grappling event in Virginia, and I think Eric signed up for it. So I know that he can't make the fight. My MMA coach will be there, so I'm still up in Bloomsburg Tuesdays, Thursdays typically, and then down at Jeff's Monday, Wednesday, and then Saturdays I'll bounce back and forth. I hit him up just to see, you know what I mean, if he'd be interested, since he's already going to be down there and I've worked with him prior, and his style is kind of comparable to mine. You know what I mean? He likes the angles and frames and stuff like that. So having him there definitely won't hurt.
Dylan, you broke up there right where when you said angles. Can you tell me again about Jeff Knapp, how his style is comparable to yours, and I'll splice it together?
Yeah. He focuses a lot on like angles and angle changes and stuff, and framing on the outside. It's a lot kind of close to my style, where it's like fancier stuff, like tricky stuff like that. And then I'm just down there usually twice a week, and then back home at Bloomsburg twice a week. For Mondays and Wednesdays in Bloomsburg are mostly jujitsu. So I was training jujitsu for my Shaka Worthy fight, and I got hurt like 5 weeks out from the fight. So I decided to stop training jujitsu at all for a kickboxing fight. It wasn't really making the most sense, but
Very good. So, the is your mom going to be at the fight?
yeah,
Sometimes she looks at me like, "Why the hell are you getting my son into this type of stuff?"
yeah, mom, dad, brother. My fiance will be there. I'm sure a few people from the gym. I got a guy up the street here. He's getting like 6 or 7 tickets for his family. So it's not going to be as much as Dan, but I'll have support there and back home for sure.
Very good, very good. And so, Dylan, most of your career, 3/4 of your career, probably played out over USKA, and it's been fun to see you develop and finally turn pro, and it's really cool. What are your ultimate goals with this?
Well, I was kind of always just fighting for myself. You know what I mean? I liked it. I enjoyed it. I wanted to get belts and stuff like that as an amateur since I was a kid, 18, when I first fought for you guys, and I accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish as an amateur, and I just thought it was time to get paid for all the hard work that I've done over the years. And now I'm fighting for something. You know what I mean? I got a kid on the way. It's going to be cool a few years from now where I could like show him stuff and teach him and get him training, and you know what I mean, make the best life for him possible. If I could make the best life for him possible by fighting people, that would be a pretty cool life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know we joke about, hey, when are we going to be able to match this kid? But is fighting something you would want to see him do competitively, or would you discourage that or encourage that?
I would be on the fence about it. I think I've like spoken to my fiance about this a lot. He will definitely know how to fight. If he wants to do it, you know what I mean? I'm sure it's what you grew up in. It's your environment. Just like basketball players, dads playing basketball, they play. It's I'm not gonna push someone to fight. You know what I mean? You have to want to do it. But we go places all the time, and I live a kind of carefree life where like if something happens outside, I don't have to worry very much. Like I hate if my fiance stops for gas by herself. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that makes me anxious, and I never really have to worry about that. So that's a feeling I won't want to have with my kid. He leaves for college or something, and God forbid something happens. He'll be trained. He'll know how to. Whether he wants to pursue it as a competitive thing, I'll leave that up to him.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now with the boy coming, you're still pink is still your color.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a girl. I wore pink
Yeah.
to the gender reveal too. I was pretty convinced that it was going to be a girl, and then I realized there's like one girl in my whole entire family, and my fiance has like 6 brothers, so the chances weren't very high. And it's a little bit easier to get into the UFC if you're a girl. You know what I mean? In case they wanted to fight. So.
Very good. All right, Dylan, this fight, looking forward, it's the only pro fight on a card, but the card is stacked with advanced AMI fights, so it is really, really cool. Place is going to be sold out, no doubt. So I just want to give you the last word here of our first pro interview here, and I'll see you in a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone that's helped me get ready for this. You know what I mean? Down at Black Sheep, everybody there, up at Midworld, all the guys sparring. I have sparring today. You know what I mean? I just got to lock in. And my last fight, I was not happy with. I went out there a little bit banged up, and just mentally, I couldn't let my hands go. So if I'm on mentally the way I'm supposed to be, I'm gonna have a great performance and get my hand raised for sure.
All right, Dylan. Once again, it's February 22nd. It's in Pottstown, and again, I look forward to seeing your fight as always. Thanks for everything, buddy.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.